Hi guys, welcome back to Train Simulator 2017, where I've loaded up the next stage of the South Wales coastal route, and we're now aboard 2G52 operating the River Trains Wales service from Maesteg to Cheltenham Spa. Due to engineering work, this service will be running through Severn Tunnel and via Bristol Parkway, set the train up and depart once the passengers are aboard. Okay, so let's open the door for the passengers to get on, put us into forward, have a look outside, check our lights, and that's a bit better. Okay, it's a cold winter's morning, it looks quite frosty, or there's been some very light snow, but I suspect that's frost. So we won't want to be accelerating too fast or braking too hard. If the rails were a bit frosty, that would be risking wheel slip, as it does when it's very wet. So want to avoid that. We'll just check our instructions. So we've got pick up passengers from Newport, then go via Severn Tunnel Junction platform 4, Archway platform 1, and pick up passengers Bristol Parkway, and that's it. Okay, time to go. Signal from the guard that all is well, and we're on our way. We've got a 15-mile-an-hour limit, so we need to be a little bit careful we don't exceed that. It does change to 40 fairly soon. So I'll just keep it around 15 point something, up to about 15.5 until we hit that 40, which should be pretty soon. So Newport platform 4 is 11 miles away. Shouldn't take us too long, hopefully. We're now actually into a 20-mile-an-hour limit, which wasn't shown on the scrolling map for some reason, but it says just below our speed that the limit is 20, so there's the 40 sign. Doesn't apply till the back of your train is through it, because the speed limit is increasing. Okay, there we go, so we can increase now up towards 40. And then there's a 75 limit coming before too long. It's 0.79. Oh, call it 3/4 of a mile away. So we'll be there fairly soon. So not the best morning in the world. Very cold, and the sky looks extremely cloudy, but there you go. Winter in southwest of England. Not as bad as winter in the north of Scotland and that sort of way. Clearly is a bit cold last night by the look of things. So things you'll need loose points for are things like wheel slip and bad ride quality, from pushing it straight up to 100% acceleration or braking too hard, something like that can cause those sorts of issues. Speeding, of course. If you don't answer the alarm quick enough and the emergency brake applies, once you're on emergency brake setting you lose points at a rapid rate. And if you go through a red signal it will end the game, because you shouldn't be going through red signals anyway. There are signalling differences you might find in other routes, because in other countries the signalling is different. In the UK it works on a block system whereby we're in this block at the moment, so the signal behind us will be red, so nothing else can come into this block. If there was something else in the next block in front of us, it would be red. Ordinarily what you would get is green like it is at the moment, which means the next 3 blocks are all clear. If it was double yellow, it means there's something 2 blocks ahead. Single yellow means 1 block ahead, and red means is in the next block. And you have to of course be stopped by the time you reach a red signal, whereas the others you can go through, but with caution, so you should be reducing your speed anyway. That's how the signalling works in the UK. At the moment we're green. The tone you can hear is from the warning system. There are sensors between the tracks, so if you look sort of here, you'll see there's one there. See if I can see one coming. Should be one very, very shortly. There it is, I can just see it now. We cross that and it pinged single tone indicating green signal. If it had a longer tone, the alarm would have lit, we'd have had to acknowledge it over here, and that would have been for anything other than green. So another one here we're just reaching. Again, green signal. And the other warning system is I think it's called driver warning system, which is if we don't move any of these levers for a while, the alarm will sound, and if it's not acknowledged, the emergency brake will apply, and that's because the driver could be unconscious for some reason. So if driver's suddenly taken ill, has a heart attack or anything like that, the train can be protected, because if the driver hasn't moved levers in quite some time, it will sound the alarm, and if he doesn't respond, it will apply the emergency brake to protect the train. Usually not a problem, because most of the time you do move the levers a little bit, regulating your speed. But if you don't, you have to bear in mind that can happen. It's not the most pleasant of mornings, one has to say. Another of the sensors, another green signal. The green signals are good, we like those. We're actually heading to be a little bit early reaching Newport anyway. Another lever train by the look of it. So this will basically be the same route that we went in the first scenario, Cardiff to Newport. We then did Newport back to Cardiff, and now we're doing Cardiff through Newport and on to Bristol. Newport to Bristol will mean crossing the River Severn somewhere, and it did say we go via Severn Tunnel, so one assumes that's a tunnel under the River Severn as opposed to a bridge over it. Nice area of the country though, nice scenery around here, but a bit white today, very frosty, or maybe light snow or something. But generally it's a very pretty area of the country. South Wales is very nice. Devon, Cornwall, Bristol is actually in Avon, I believe. Avon is the county that Bristol is in, I think. It's not far from Gloucestershire, which is also a very pretty area. It's quite a nice area of the country. It gets quite a few tourists down that way because it is so pretty, I suppose you say, or aesthetically pleasing or whatever, but it's very nice. Well, since I've been down that area of the country, I'm on the other side of the country. I'm on the east coast, so I'm about as far from there as you could possibly get, really. The east of the country tends to get better weather in general, I think, but in the winter, if the winds do turn either north or easterly, which are the two coldest directions, then the area I'm in will really feel it. So it can be quite bleak in winter, but very pleasant in summer. So we're now only 3 miles out. There's a 75 mile an hour limit coming, which I'm going to start slowing for now. Because I don't want to be applying the brakes too hard, because there will be a distinct danger of wheel slip, I suspect. And it looks like we've got a double yellow signal here. Yes, we have. There's the alarm, because it's not green. Anything other than green will cause that alarm, which I acknowledged. You give something like 10 or 15 seconds to acknowledge them. Another one. That's for the speed limit, I think, 75. Ah, there's green signal again now. Okay. Maybe we were catching up on something, but it's going a bit faster out in front of us, so it's more than 2 blocks ahead now, so we're getting green signals, that's fine. Okay, so we're coming towards a 60 mile an hour limit now. Yeah, another warning of the lower speed limit, but still a green signal, you can see. And we are near enough at Newport, so I need to be slowing. With the 30 mile an hour limit coming just the other side of this tunnel we're coming into. Quite a pleasant drive, I must say. I'm enjoying this scenario pack. The South Wales Coastal pack is really quite nice. Looking forward to trying a few of the others as well. So I don't know if any of you guys have a preference for any particular route you might like to see, but do let me know. Just add a comment and I'll see what I can do in terms of being able to drive that one. You may have driven some that are particular favourites, or perhaps something in your area of the world. Be it UK, France, Germany, anywhere, we can generally get routes that cover most areas. You might have to be a bit specific about which area it is, but we can hopefully get something, or something close to, well, anyway. Okay, so we're now very close to the station. We have a green signal with a 4 on it, indicating platform 4, that's us. Okay, so it looks like platform 4 is on our left here. Roll gently in and then we'll apply the brake shortly. We are going to be early by 40 odd seconds. This means we have to sit a little bit longer because you can't leave early, so means we'll be sitting stationary a little bit longer, but it's only 40 seconds. It's not like we're 5 minutes early or something, which would be a bit of a pain. We'll probably end up cutting the video if that were the case, sitting here for that long. Okay, so we're just rolling to a halt. The ideal stopping point is indicated by the distance there, and we're going to stop a little bit earlier than that, but not far out. That will do nicely. Open the doors, let's have a look outside. Yeah, a few people getting on, people getting off. about that sky. It doesn't look that promising, does it really? You have to say. Don't think it's going to be the best day. I don't think South Wales area is going to be seeing much sunshine today, not by the look of that. 7:15 in the morning, we're no doubt picking some people up who are going to work in Bristol, possibly. We'll just wait for the red bar to get across near enough to the clock, and then we should be ready to go. Departure time is 7:15. Arrival time at Bristol Parkway is 7:35, so we're about 20 minutes to go. So we've now got about 20 seconds and then we should be ready to leave. And we're in a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, but it reduces to a 20 very shortly, so I won't be going initially above 20. That'll keep us ready for that lower speed limit when we get to it. So it's just out of the platform possibly. There we go, time to go. There's a guard indicating that all is well. So as I say, I'm not going to go above 20 here because we're coming onto a 21-hour limit. You can see the sign in front of us. So we're now in that 20-mile-an-hour zone. Keep our speed around there, and we're just going into a 40. And there we go, in the 40 now, so we'll start accelerating a bit. Number of lights on in the houses, it looks like people are getting up and going to work. I assume this is a weekday rather than a weekend. Doesn't actually tell you what day of the week it is, I don't think, so you can't be sure about that, but we'll make the assumption it's a weekday and they're all getting up for work. Why not? There's 5 weekdays and only 2 weekend days, so there's a better chance it would be a weekday. Okay, so 75 limit now. So let's increase our speed up towards that. Another Arriva train. Very short one, and we're 9 miles from Severn Tunnel Junction, which implies Severn Tunnel implies we are indeed going under the River Severn, which is a wide river, so it'll be a long tunnel. We do there at 7:24 and 30 seconds, and currently we're heading to be about 20 seconds late. Hopefully we can get that back along the way. And a 75-mile-an-hour limit, heading for a 90, you can see coming up. That's the outside view. That's the overhead view. And that's us. Never like to be in those outside views too long, because somebody wrote a law that says you'll then go through a speed limit, not see it, and lose loads and loads of points for speeding while you weren't looking because you were outside. But there are lots of different views you can use. And a lot of variety in the scenarios as well, I have to say. There's very good variety, route scenarios and so on, and lots and lots and lots of DLCs. My favourite area of UK or most of Europe to drive, and quite a bit US I think as well. Worth looking in the shop to see exactly what they've got. Always adding new stuff for this game. The level of realism is really very good. Not that I've ever driven a train in my life, but I would imagine that this is exactly how it is. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I mean, it's not a very pleasant day, I'm afraid. Can't really admire the beautiful scenery when it's dull, to be honest. It looks quite nice with all the white on the ground as well, though, I have to say. So we're now 5 3/4 miles out. Shouldn't be taking us too long at 90 mile an hour. Is what we're now doing. 90 mile an hour sounds quite fast, but when you're used to driving everywhere like me, the highest speed limit we have on any of our roads is 70, then obviously 90 is a bit faster. But some trains, Intercity 125s, as the name suggests, do 125. So 90 is far from the fastest train in the world, but still faster than you go by car. And certainly if you're going into London to work, most people commuting by train, you wouldn't want to drive because it takes you forever than a day to get there, to be honest. Traffic is really bad and it really would take you a long time. If you're anything up to about an hour away, train is the way to go, really. Quite a long passenger train. Not the Arriva one, that one, I don't think. Okay, so we're coming towards the 75 now. We'll start applying the brakes very gently, just to slowly loosen speed and prevent having to apply the brakes too heavily on what are potentially slippery tracks. Make sure we get down to 75 before we reach the speed limit. And I'd imagine we'll be seeing the platform fairly soon, although this is not a stop, remember. This is just a go via. So normally if you're stopping at a station to drop passengers off, you will see the walking person symbol there, which indicates that. If there's just a hand sort of held up so you can see the palm of the hand in front of you, that means you need to stop, but it's not actually a station. And then if you see that finger pointing to the right, as that is now, that means that's a go via, and you don't need to stop at all. So we'll be going through Severn Tunnel Junction, if I can say it, at about 70 mile an hour. Green signal again. And just the other side of the platform, just a little way the other side, we go back into a 75 and then into a tunnel. By the look of things, which one assumes could well be the tunnel under the 7, with this platform being called 7 Tunnel Junction. It seems we're about to go under the River Severn. Let's just get through the station. There it is. Timeliness bonus plus 200, that's good. So we're keeping to time. So we're now going into that 75 limit. And now we're going into this tunnel, which I suspect is under the River Severn. I think it's going to be quite a long tunnel. There's just a bridge here. Oops, speeding it says. Okay, this is the tunnel coming up now. And we're going downhill, which means we could tend to pick up speed even with brakes applied very slightly, but I think that's just about holding us steady, so that's quite good. Unfortunately, a long tunnel like this is not great for videos, I know, because you can't really see a lot. Got the lights on, but you still can't really see a lot. It seems to go down quite a way. We'll level out the bottom and then have to go back up the other side, so it's going to be quite a long tunnel, I'm afraid. The River Severn is a wide river, very much like the Humber nearer to me. That's a very wide river as well. Humber Bridge is quite famous, not least because it's a toll bridge. They're only £1.50 each way, so it's not exactly expensive, but I think the bridge over the River Severn may be a toll bridge as well, and of course the Queen Elizabeth Bridge at Dartford, which goes over the Thames, connects Essex to Kent, then that's also a toll bridge, but considerably more than £1.50 a day. I don't know how much it is these days, £4, £5 a card, I think, something like that. Long while since I've been that way. So now we are about to start climbing. Lighting effects are very clever, they look really good, I must say. Very nice. I don't know what graphics engine this is built in, but very good. So we are 6 miles from Patchway Platform 1, and I suspect if this is a Severn tunnel, when we come out of this tunnel, which we're about to do fairly soon, I would have thought we can't be far from Bristol. Effectively, you cross the River Severn, you're near enough of Bristol. So I'd imagine that Patchway and Bristol that we're heading to are going to be very close to each other. Yeah, 3 minutes away. Bristol Parkway is about 3 minutes from Patchway. I thought as much. So we're coming out the Severn Tunnel shortly. It's about 5 miles to Patchway now. So we're out the Severn Tunnel. And this is just a road bridge in front of us by the look of it. Here we're now into a 90 speed limit, so we'll keep accelerating. Until we see any reason not to. Should be pretty straightforward from here, I would have thought. Going under some power lines now by the look of it. Okay, 3.5 miles away, 3.5 miles, and we're heading to be around about 15 seconds late. 15 seconds late is fine. Basically that will count as on time. I don't think it starts reducing your timeliness bonus unless you're over a minute late. I think possibly every minute costs you something, I'm not sure. It seems to be how it's gone on most scenarios anyway. But it could be different scenario to scenario. Going uphill again now, and there's another shortish tunnel coming. Certainly not as long as the Severn tunnel anyway. Looks like it's tunnelled through the hillside this time. Which you can't do much about tunnels, and the fact that I know it's very difficult in the video for you guys to see much, I would imagine, but unfortunately tunnels are a fact of life. Got to get through hillsides and over or under rivers or whatever, then you're going to have tunnels, unfortunately. So Patchway Platform 1 is on the map, as is a 60 mile/h speed limit, so I'm going to start slowing down for that. We're going uphill at the moment, which should mean we slow down a bit quicker, so that will all help. Hardly really braking, and we're easily getting down to the 60 because it is also uphill. So you naturally will slow down quicker, and there's Bristol Parkway on the map as well, so it is not very far at all. About 1.5 miles, and that will be the end of our route. It's been fairly uneventful, which you would expect. It's a green scenario. I mean, the difficulty measure was green on the list of scenarios and so on, routes, whatever you want to call it, in my collection, so if it's green you would expect it to be fairly simple. It's when you get to the oranges and reds that you tend to run into some interesting times, let's say. All sorts of things go on with signals, speed limits, perhaps problems on the track like a broken down train or something. All adds to the variety though, because we've got double yellow signal here. Not it's going to matter to us. The next one may well be single yellow, but if there's a red it's going to be the other side of Bristol Parkway anyway. And as I say, we finish our duty at Bristol Parkway. One thing that would be nice that I don't hear much of, I don't think, in the simulation is station announcements. Like when you pull into a station, you would expect somebody to be saying the train now standing at platform whatever is the 7:15 to Bristol Parkway or whatever. But I don't really hear that very much, if at all, to be honest. I haven't had another level of realism. Because that is what you get at railway stations. They are always announcing which trains are which, because stations with lots of platforms, particularly for people who don't travel through them very often, can be very confusing. And the last thing you want to be standing at the wrong platform, the far end of a station. And King's Cross, London's a prime example, has got about 15 platforms. You can check the board and see which platform your train's supposed to go from, but then sometimes you get a platform change. The announcement of which train is going into which platform is sort of fairly essential, because I say there's about 15 of them. And a lot of tourists go through there, and if they don't know King's Cross, it can be quite confusing. So in this case, it would be the train now standing at Bristol Parkway. It's a 7:35 to Cheltenham Spa, except that I won't be driving it because our duty finishes here. Okay, we'll come to a halt there, that will do us. Open the doors so people get off and on, and wait for our evaluation. What do you think, guys? I think it went quite well, but we did lose 10 points speeding, so I think we might get silver. It's harsh enough to keep us from getting gold for the sake of 10 points, could be. Silver pushing gold. Gold would be nice, but I'll settle for silver if that's the way it is. Great work, all tasks complete successfully. Let's see how well you did. Silver, there you go. Okay, so if I go back to my view of my routes, so you can now see we have gold, silver, silver. Okay, so next time we'll perhaps go on to one of the yellow ones, perhaps this one, Wentloog, don't know what that is, to Southampton, and it's a freight liner, so it looks like it might be a freight service. So we'll perhaps have a look at that next time. In the meantime, take care guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for more Train Simulator 2017 updates, and I'll see you next time. Take care, bye now.